1014.
Thank you. Pardon me. This is a course that I have taught at some other lifelong learning programs. It's a course that focuses not on life, love, and death broadly in 5 sessions, something that's probably beyond the abilities of any teacher I've ever heard of. This is a course that really focuses upon exploring through literature the themes of life, love, and death as they play out in the microcosm of small towns, the laboratory that exists in towns of 5,000 or fewer. Many authors have taken on the context of small towns as a vehicle for exploring human relationships, their interactions with each other, their hopes and fears. This course will explore the works of 3 of them. Edgar Lee Masters, an important lawyer and poet of the 20th century, who broke ground with his Spoon River anthology, a collection of free verse epitaphs from the deceased residents of a small town in Illinois in the 19th century, which include Anne Rutledge, the beloved, ill-fated early love of Abraham Lincoln, and many others, very different, have very interesting stories, and together they depict really the life of that small town in Illinois. The second work which we will examine will be by the Welsh poet Dylan Thomas, who writes in Under Milkwood about the group of quirky, unusual characters that he came across in his hometown, after which Milkwood, the center of the poet Under Milkwood, is cast. The final work we will study is the iconic American drama Our Town by Thornton Wilder. One of the characteristics that attracted me to these 3 works is that all of them, in various ways, have been converted into dramatic performance. Spoon River Anthology actually has been presented by a number of different artists in various versions. The one that we will focus on is that by a man named Charles Aidman, which had a successful Broadway run, and which was done selecting many of the poems from Spoon River Anthology with American folk music highlighting and underscoring the emotions of the piece. Under Milkwood was originally written by Dylan Thomas as a radio drama, has been performed as a radio drama, actually with Dylan Thomas performing one of the roles himself in the original broadcast, which we will hear some of by Dylan Thomas in the course. And Under Milkwood itself has been converted from a radio play to a stage play, and actually eventually into a motion picture, which starred, among others, Richard Burton, Peter O'Toole, and Elizabeth Taylor, some of which we will also see during the course of this particular course. Finally, Our Town was written for the stage by Thornton Wilder. It was a groundbreaking piece of theater, won the Pulitzer Prize the year it was performed on Broadway. It literally, in its 3 acts, picks up the theme of the course of life, love, and death. The first act is about a day in the life of the fictional town of Grover's Corners, New Hampshire. The second act is about the love story between the young protagonists of the play, culminating in their wedding at the end of Act 2. And the third act focuses upon the third part of the theme, death, which includes, at its climax, one of the most moving moments of American theater. So we will consider small towns. Is life, love, and death in small towns different from those elsewhere? Is it simply the fact that we all, in a certain sense, live in small towns? We will consider those through discussion, through viewing of film clips, also doing some class readings as members of the class are interested in reading some of the pieces from these 3 wonderful pieces of literature, American and Welsh, as they explore these themes, as they play out in the lives of the interactions of people in these 3 small towns. For those of you who like small towns, people, and literature, I think this would be a course you would find very interesting and very moving, and we'll hope to see a number of you there when the course begins on the 18th of March. Thank you.
We are delighted to welcome Leslie Tierstein to teach her first Encore Learning course entitled American English, What We Speak and Why. What are the factors that influence how a language develops and changes? This is course number 5.